I am on my main login. I'm going to go over to the left, the blue column, and click on Growth Reports. Once I'm there, I'm going to page down to the Learning Continuum and click there. We're going to start by looking at the class view on the Learning Continuum. You can select the term rostered and the term tested. You most likely won't have schools to select from or instructors, but you can select the various classes you teach and the tests that you give. After you select the class that you want to look at and the test that you want to look at, you will click on View Report. Once you've selected the class that you want to look at and the test you want to look at, you can see that it's broken down by major domains with the dark green. And then underneath each major domain is another category under the major domain. Before you start digging into this, I want to say a couple things. Number one, the learning continuum is huge. So the best way to approach it is to only address what you're currently working on or what you're getting ready to work on. Otherwise, it becomes very overwhelming. The second thing is before you start clicking on anything, you have the option to look at this in a different way. So I can say no grouping, group by topic, or group by standard. So what I'm going to do is select no grouping if I want to see all the skills that students are ready to work on. If I want to group it by topic, it organizes those skills under categories. And if I group by standards, it will group those skills that they're ready to learn by standard. So I'm going to keep it at standard right now. And since this is an 8th grade class, I'm going to say I want to look at the grade level standards for 8th grade. So let's say I am an 8th grade math teacher and I am getting ready to teach functions. So I will click only on that portion. That way it's not so overwhelming. And it breaks it down for me a couple different ways. Let's close that there. All right. So over here on the far left, it gives me a RIT score range. It gives me the standard that it addresses under functions to model relationships. And then it lets me know the students that fall within that range and what they're ready to learn. And as you page down, you can see the number of students in each range. This lets you know, all right, so the bulk of my class falls between these two ranges here. So I would look for the sameness in what they are ready to learn to be able to start planning for learning there. Then you have students that are above that range over here, and students that are below that range that might need some additional support. Again, I would only look at 1 or 2 standards at a time in what you're currently working on or what's coming up. Otherwise, it becomes so overwhelming. I am back on the Learning Continuum homepage, and I've paged down to Test View. I'm going to stick with that 8th grade theme and click on the Growth Math 6 Plus assessment. After selecting the Growth Math 6 Plus assessment, again, you're going to see that you have the option to edit your display. You can see the row of RIT score ranges, and you can see the domains and subdomains that were tested. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit Display Options, and I have 8th grade clicked, and I have grouped it by standard. Again, I'm only going to look at what I'm currently teaching and or what's coming up. So I am going to look at expressions and equations. Let me close this out. I want to look at expressions and equations. Right now, it is set up for the range of 181, 190. And so whatever's clicked on is that middle range, what's being developed. And you can see the ranges as you move the arrow to the right. So as you plan, you need to think about, hey, where are the bulk of my kids when it comes to operations and algebraic thinking? And that information comes on your class report when they break it down by domain. So if I am starting expressions and equations and I need to look through the 8th grade standards of what's coming up, and I know that the bulk of my class is in the 211 to 20 range, this lets me know what I need to introduce. Now, again, you can toggle these arrows back and forth to see what needs to be developed and what needs to be reinforced. So as I move through, if I'm thinking, okay, if this is what I need to introduce to the bulk of my class, what do I need to reinforce? And you can click the arrow to adjust that. So this is what would need to be reinforced here for this standard here. And then as I click it over for my range of 211 to 20, what needs to be developed for these kids? Here, under this particular standard.